Tonight, police outline what they say happened in the lead-up to the Parramatta terror attack. Is it time for women to ditch the over-the-shoulder boulder holder altogether? Strap yourselves in. Russell Brand is on his way to the studio, and it's hard to believe it's been nearly a decade since Lara Bingle wanted to know where the bloody hell we were. We know exactly where she is, right here, live with us. Your news delivered differently. This is The Project.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to The Project. Back with us tonight is Fifi Box.
Friday.
I know.
Oh, so much. Such a big show on the way.
It's huge. So huge that you turned up.
I did. I missed you, Waleed. Time now to see what's making news this Friday, the 16th of October, and 2 Sydney men charged over the Parramatta shooting will be held in maximum security after being refused bail. 18-year-old Rabana Lou is accused of orchestrating the act of terror that saw Curtis Chang gunned down in the street.
Raban will be fighting these charges. We ask that the legal process is respected and that the matter is left for determination by the court according to the evidence and not speculation.
Police also allege 22-year-old Talal Alamuddin supplied the gun and has links to Middle Eastern crime gangs. The pair will face court again in December. Dramatic scenes in Melbourne's east with 2 teenagers seriously injured after a stolen unmarked police car collided head-on with a bus. One of the young men had to be cut from the mangled wreck. The bus driver also suffered minor injuries. There were no passengers on board.
Everyone was injured. The bus driver was laying on the floor in the bus. There was, fuel leaking everywhere.
Serial fraudster Peter Foster, who was doing time for his involvement in a weight loss scam, has been released from prison 6 months early. He was supposed to serve 18 months of a 3-year sentence, and outside a Brisbane court, he told reporters he was grateful to be going home.
Well, it's a bit early in the day for a lap dance, so I think I'll just go home to my mum, make a cup of tea, hold her hand, and tell her I'm sorry for the last 12 months.
And this is definitely not the kind of thing you want to see if you've got a fear of flying. A passenger on a Sky Airlines flight in Chile has filmed the plane's engine falling apart as it was taking off. Thankfully, the pilot turned the plane around and then landed safely 25 minutes later.
Yeah. I reckon there's a whole plane of people really regretting that not listening to the safety demonstration.
Oh, but also, this is what happens when you don't turn off your electronic device.
I think that's the real story here.
Yeah, that is a massive story.
What is so scary, though, I'm that person who screams when you hear cabin luggage that dislodges and there's a big clang, we're going to die. I mean, I'd try to pull back on the we're going to die.
In that case, that would have been legitimate. And I wonder, look, at what point do you stop feeling and stop filming and start, like, pulling your pants? Like, I just find it weird that in those situations...
I can do both at the same time.
Why do people keep filming when a plane is falling apart? Aren't you trying to, like, get up to tell the pilot?
But if you watch that video, everyone's silent. Maybe it's just normal.
In Chile?
Yeah.
That's the way it's done over there.
Yeah, maybe they only cheer when the plane lands.
Moving on now, Bill Shorten, he's an intelligent man. He is. He's the leader of the opposition, of course, but sometimes he doesn't understand the little things.
I also hope they recognise, as they're talking about technology, that they'll look at actually not making $30 billion worth of cuts to Australian schools. See, there's no one jigsaw piece which is actually the whole puzzle.
No, that's just a picture. That's just a picture.
Weird shape picture.
Jigsaw puzzle has to be cut up, Bill. That's the whole point. We're being a jigsaw, Bill.
Well explained.
That's a concern.
Yes. We have to go to a break. Back with more in a second.
Coming up, we hit the track ahead of this weekend's MotoGP. Are you guilty of faking it on Facebook? And Russell Brand is in the building. You're watching The Project. William was at Cambridge Uni. He was studying agricultural management, but today he wasn't there for classes but to officially open a newly refurbished archive. It contains documents dating back to medieval times, including a 14th century copy of Magna Carta. And if you've ever had life envy after looking at your friends' Facebook and Instagram accounts, this might not come as a surprise. A new survey's found more than half of social media users say they post things purely to make people jealous. Even worse, 6% have posted images of borrowed items, passing them off as their own.
That's why I hire actors to play my kids on social media. Get the photogenic actors.
That's very good.
I love you boys. I love you boys. They're playing cricket at the moment. That's
we got some feedback on it. I like Peter on Facebook who says, this is false. I am actually the Prime Minister of Unicorn City in the dwarf domain. Congratulations, Peter. Moving on now, and in 2013 and 14, one Victorian hospital recorded a cluster of 10 baby deaths. Today, we learnt that at least 7 of those babies should still be alive.
This is a very sad day in the history of Victorian health. There are many lessons to be learnt from this.
There are few things more heartbreaking than the loss of a baby.
And to learn that that death may have been avoidable can only compound that loss and pain.
For 7 Victorian families tonight, that's the sheer agony they're faced with. In 2013, 7 babies died during or just after birth at the Bacchus Marsh and Melton Regional Hospital. In 2014, another 3 died. This mortality rate was twice the expected average, yet it flew under the radar.
What we now know is that there were a number of key failings which may have contributed to the loss of 7 of those babies. It is truly a heartbreaking set of circumstances.
The results of an investigation into the hospital are damning. It found there was a lack of proper training, with some staff inadequately monitoring babies' heart rates during birth. The hospital accepted high-risk pregnancies that it should have referred on. And the head obstetrician had been under investigation over his abilities for 2 years while he continued to deliver babies.
What has happened here has been a series of catastrophic failures by a number of parties that may have contributed to the very sad loss of young life. It's simply not good enough.
The entire board of the hospital has been sacked. The obstetrician has also been stood down. The government is confident there are no more problems in the system. But that's cold comfort for families still grieving for the baby who never came home.
I am deeply conscious that nothing can change the past for these families. Nothing can lessen the pain, but we have an obligation to protect and prevent others from enduring this unbearable and unspeakable pain.
Well, Anne Shortall is a lawyer representing one of the families who lost their baby at the hospital, and she joins us now. And how is the family holding up with this devastating news?
Can't really talk specifically about any of the families, but I would say that, you know, in all of these cases in regard to stillbirth claims, they are really devastating for families. I think any parent can imagine how devastating it would be.
So what do you say is the main failing at this hospital in these cases?
Well, it seems to me to be that there have been really systemic errors. Perhaps, you know, this is a low-risk hospital where perhaps they were taking patients that were in fact high risk, and there may just not have been adequate staff, adequate medical presence, adequate paediatric care. You know, it is quite a small hospital.
So whose job is it to make sure a hospital isn't performing, you know, or helping high-risk pregnancies when they're not up to it? Or, I mean, who's governing all that to make sure that these hospitals are doing the right thing?
Well, I suppose the Department of Health is obviously supervising hospitals. This has come to light through a perinatal morbidity council that have recognised that there's been a higher than normal rate for a low-risk pregnancy hospital. That's then been referred on to the Department of Health for investigation, which has showed that there are particular issues at this hospital.
And what's to stop this happening again in another Australian hospital?
Well, obviously you would hope that the Department of Health would really be putting strategies in to sort of prevent this happening, and hopefully there would be earlier recognition of particular issues. I mean, the difficulty here is that this has been happening over a 2-year period, and for the families that have been impacted, you know, nothing's going to give them back their lovely baby.
Absolutely heartbreaking situation, Anne. Thank you so much for updating us tonight, and all the best with your fight for the families.
Thank you.
Oh, it is, yeah. By the way, we do have a statement from the hospital, which we've posted on our website if you'd like to take a look.
It's time for a break now. We'll see you on the other side.
Coming up, what do you get the gorilla that's got everything? Tiny kittens, of course. Plus, since we last caught up with Lara Bingle, she's gotten herself hitched and had a baby. Mrs. Worthington drops by after the break. This is The Project.
Take things over.
service has been held in Canberra in honour of the Ballabo Five on the 40th anniversary of their deaths. Fellow journo Roger East, who was also killed while reporting from East Timor in 1975, was also remembered by family and friends. No one's ever been held accountable for their murders. And a 20-year-old Venezuelan man has set a new world record for the world's biggest feet at 40.1 centimetres long. In European sizes, Jason Hernandez wears a 59 and he's been getting his shoes made specially since he was 14.
His boat shoes are actual boats. Interesting fact. It's an interesting fact, Fifi.
You know what they say about big feet? Very hard to find shoes.
I hear they say that.
59?
I think it's like a 24 Australian,
a size
maybe?
24?
I mean, you wouldn't even know because there wouldn't be a 24
Yeah, there
Australian.
wouldn't be one. Oh, wow.
That's huge.
But we're just focusing on the shoes. It looks like he needs large clothes too. Like it's his whole wardrobe.
Yeah,
that's
it wasn't
particularly large.
proportional. It wasn't in proportion, I
Did
didn't
it?
feel.
Oh, I thought he looked quite in proportion.
Well, that baby on his foot, that wasn't a baby. That was a fully grown woman.
Now, two eager fundraisers have an overload of snags after a Woolies supermarket in Melbourne banned them from running their charity sausage sizzle tomorrow outside their store. James Carfax Foster and Liam Pedersen wanted to raise funds for the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre, but they were shut down.
And James and Liam join us now. Guys, you try to do a good thing and then it just blows up in your face. What happened?
It was last Sunday. We were down at Woolies in Middle Camberwell and all was going good. We'd been down there for about 3.5 hours before someone heard an announcement inside the store and just proceeded to give some flack to the manager on duty. So for them it was just easier to get us to pull down all our signs and head off.
So the announcement upset someone. What did the announcement say?
Well, it actually said that, you know, go outside and support the boys cooking sausages for the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre, and that was pretty much it.
Oh, well, that's outrageous.
But is that the issue, guys? The issue that you're raising money for refugees? Do you think that's the reason for the customer complaint?
Yeah, for them, they saw it as a politicised issue, and that was a big thing for us. We were trying to really portray this as a humanitarian issue. We're not trying to take a political message here. We're just trying to raise money to help people who need it.
And if you don't like it, don't buy the snag.
Exactly. You're more than welcome to walk past us.
What happens now? Where to from here? Have you found another venue?
We've actually just received a call 20 minutes ago from the same Woolworths, very reluctantly offering us back again for tomorrow. So I'd just like to invite everyone down that's got a bit of spare time, come and support the Asylum Seeker Resource Centre and buy our sausages.
Well, James, Liam, all the best with the sausage sizzle, and yeah, send us one if you've got time.
Thanks so much.
Cheers.
Nothing better than a cold snag. Now, this week marks National No Bra Day in the US, when women go free boob to promote breast cancer awareness. But some researchers say that every day should be No Bra Day. For years, women have been told that bras help support the chest, reduce back pain and prevent sagging. But research suggests that is just plain wrong. A 15-year-long study showed no medical advantage to wearing a bra from an early age. Now, there's two important things to note about this study. First, the doctor who ran it is a man. And second, he's French.
He says he's a professor, but I've said that to the ladies too on occasion.
How big are they? Have you had children? Do you breastfeed? And how long did you breastfeed for? All these things will affect how firm your breast tissue will remain.
You might be surprised to learn that not wearing a bra when you're younger increases collagen production, improving your natural lift. Basically, bras only boost boobs while you're wearing them. And there are still good reasons for some of us to keep our girls close to our chests.
Women with larger breasts can often need help with their posture.
But let's not forget there are other reasons to bung on a brassiere. For example, they can make your boobs look fantastic.
I personally like to embrace bras, as many as I can, as often as I can.
Like all fashions, bra trends come and go, from the bullets of the 50s all the way to the fire-breathing spark blasters all the kids are wearing today.
It's unclear why women do anything. Sometimes it's because we're told to, and other times it's because we're told to.
So whether to bra or not to bra is totally up to you. But there's no medical reason why you can't have free-range boobs. Surely you agree that that's like That's the best part of the day, is when you get to take your bra off.
Do you know what? I wish, Carrie, honestly, it's the most uncomfortable part of my day.
Why?
See, I hear stories like that and you get women going, oh, it's great to take our bras off. If you've got quite a bit of breast tissue, there's nothing worse than taking your bra off. You can't, it's not that I want lift, it's just, I just want to be able to walk or run without in the eye.
I wear the bra to give me boobs. So I see the difference.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Pete?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at that.
Man's ear going.
My man's ear's okay. But speaking of fun, there's tons to be had.
Whoa.
There's tons to be had at Fort Lytton National Park in Brisbane, OK? It was one of the locations used by Angelina Jolie for her film Unbroken, and now she's chipped in a chunk of cash for restorations. And a spokesperson explained why it's a great place to take the whole family.
And they even had the ladies here, the Victorian ladies, showing you how the ladies dress from their underwear up to their full dresses, and then back to and how they put their skirts and that on. And it was, the kids would have loved it. They really loved it.
The kids loved it. The dads loved it as well.
And the free boobing demonstration was wonderful. Now, you may know our next guest is Lara Bingle, but ladies and gentlemen, it is time to meet Lara Worthington.
It's been almost 10 years since Lara Bingle fronted the Australian tourism campaign asking for our location.
So where the bloody hell are you?
Since then, we've seen her grace countless campaigns and magazine covers and star in her own reality show.
What is your actual job title? Have you got a job title? What is it?
Entrepreneur. Which brings us to her latest venture. Lara Bingle is now Lara Worthington after marrying Aussie actor Sam Worthington. And together, they're proud parents of little son Rocket. Let's find out what's next.
Please welcome Lara Worthington.
Ask the most important question first. Are you free boobing tonight, or have you opted for the brassiere?
No, I'm wearing a bra. And especially after breastfeeding, I really need that.
Don't we all?
Thank you for that exclusive.
Yeah.
Is the studio getting hot all of a sudden?
Now, look, it's been a massive, a massive period for you because you got married, you had a son. So much is going on. What do you want to talk about first?
What do I?
Which one makes you happier?
Like...
What was the happier day? The birth or the wedding? What was the happiest?
I'll start with the wedding.
The wedding.
Just because it was first. Yeah, Sam and I, we got married last year. It's nearly been a year. Here, actually, in Melbourne.
Oh,
yeah.
What's amazing about that, Lara, is that it was kept a secret for a year, knowing what your life's like and the intrusion into your privacy. Yeah. How did you keep that under wraps?
I feel like, you know, that element of having something kept to yourself, you know, I don't know, it's super important to us. And I try with other things, and some things you can and some things you can't, but you just can't tell anyone.
But we were just saying, like, even like a florist or we were talking today, how did nobody, like, say...
I didn't really... It was very low-key. It was very intimate. I think there was less than 10 people, just my immediate family.
And you made lunch.
We hired the celebrant, like, a week before, so no one really... Yeah,
but even that's a risk, like...
Yeah.
You told no one?
No.
Did
like,
Sam
even our family...
What was for lunch? What did you make for lunch? Sandwiches or something?
We just had...
Sausage sizzle?
No. I think we just did... Yeah, we did a roast. Yeah, I don't know, it was really nice.
I want to talk about little Rocket, little cutie patootie. I've been following you on Instagram. There's the cutest photo of him, I think, laying in a I think you're on a private jet, which made me laugh because I thought it's only, like, downhill from there. Like, if you ever want to fly, like, 64B row, he's going to be like, no, Mum, I only do private jets.
He doesn't even know where he is. He's just cruising. He's probably asleep there, yeah.
Has it been a great joy for you, loving it?
Yeah, I mean, as I guess you understand, it's so challenging, but so amazing. Yeah, the rewards outweigh the kind of sleepless nights, sleep deprivation. Yeah.
Well, I found it interesting. I was listening to you the other day saying that you guys don't have a nanny either. You're doing it all yourself. How are you making that all work?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just something that Sam and I haven't spoken about, and you know, we had Rocket to do it ourselves. You know, I didn't want to, you know, pass him over to someone and just sleep every night. And, you know, I think...
Yeah, sure, because sleeping every night's quite nice.
You take me to the wrong way. But you know what I mean?
Like those he's not sleeping, because mine's not sleeping, so make me feel better.
No,
just tell me he's not.
No, he sleeps from 7 to 7.
Okay, go away.
But we did. I took some time off and Sam did as well, so we were lucky enough to... We just balance it. We just juggle.
And then as if you're not busy enough, being a new mum, you're fronting this new campaign for Westfield, the Today I Am campaign. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's really nice to be home for Westfield, and obviously, you know, when I'm overseas, I love seeing the brand over there because I feel like I'm kind of at home a little bit, you know. I get that sense of, you know, Australia, and it's an international brand. They have high brands like Louis Vuitton to Cotton On, which I am a massive fan of wearing, you know, high and low brands. And
Gazman.
And the Today I Am campaign, it's all about, you know, being who you are today, and that's really important to me. I think, you know, I've had, you know, an evolution of a career, and it's still evolving, and I think it's important to be, you know, who you are today. Yeah.
I want to talk to you about paps and mags and stuff. We often laugh about it. You know, one week Fifi's having a 15th child and, you know, I'm getting married, things like that. None of which is...
hide it well, don't I?
None of which is happening. I saw today some magazine cover where you've told all the truth about us. You know, I'm interested to know what the truth is. But how do you manage that? What's the funniest thing you've read about yourself, and how sort of what's your approach to that now?
I think with the pap thing, like... Look, Sam and we understand that it's a byproduct of, you know, our profession, but I think when it comes to children, you know, it's, you know, when it's taken without your consent, I think that that's really unacceptable, yeah. And as I'm sure you guys, you know, I think it's just the way they go about it, the stalking, you know, it's just really unsafe environment, and for Rocket, for other people in the street, and it just makes me anxious talking about it.
The only thing that makes this legal is that you're a celebrity. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody was stalking a woman, you know, a private citizen, and taking photos and doing all that, it wouldn't be legal.
Yeah. Sam and I have spoken about this a lot, and we just and the laws. There's, you know, there's not many here that you can kind of have anything to stand for. Or, like, even when Sam called the police, there was, like, kind of nothing to police because there's nothing they can really do.
The law's not on your side,
So what do you do from here? You know, it's the circle. You know, they take the photo, the magazines buy the picture, and that's kind of... And people buy it. And it's sad, but, you know, when kids are involved.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a pleasure having you here. The details on Lara's campaign with Westfield, head to the Sites We Like page. We've got Russell Brand coming up, so stick around with us backstage, have a drink. I'm sure he'll love to catch up with you backstage. We've got to take a break in a sec, but thank you. Right, if you have just joined us, here's what's making news this Friday, the 16th of October. And WA Police have declined to comment on a newspaper report that there's been a breakthrough in the Claremont serial killings. Its report suggests detectives have forensic evidence linking Kiara Glennon's killer to the person who abducted a teenage girl from Claremont and sexually assaulted her in 1995. A terrifying experience for a Melbourne family of 5 after their home was sprayed with up to 20 bullets in a drive-by shooting. Cars parked outside the Laylaw house were also peppered with bullets. Police believe a high-powered weapon was used in the attack.
Well, sounded like a machine gun. It was just consecutive shots, one after the other.
We're lucky that no one's been injured or hurt as a result of this.
A huge score for Border Force officials who've uncovered the biggest haul of illegal tobacco in Australian history. They've seized 71 tonnes of the stuff smuggled from Indonesia, enough to make 88 million cigarettes. If it had reached the streets, it would have cost the government $27 million in lost tax revenue.
It's very clear to us from our intelligence analysis that the importation of illicit tobacco by syndicates is linked to organised crime.
And the world's smartest gorilla, Coco, has adopted a litter of kittens. The 44-year-old ape, who's never had a baby of her own, used sign language to tell her keepers that she wanted to keep the kitties. She even asked one of them to be put on her head. So cute.
I think I got the sign language wrong. She actually said, "Can you put this one to bed?" And then... But the sign language isn't perfect with the gorillas.
I'm worried about what maybe the next footage we haven't seen of that is.
Yeah, well...
Like a gorilla and a kitty, that can't end well.
They can't left in the enclosure.
No.
I can tell you they did a lot of takes and join the dots.
I just want to go back to the story of the shooting in Melbourne's suburb of Laylaw. There was a neighbour who I think we saw there who heard the commotion and he spoke to the media today.
What did you see last night in your court here?
I was just kicking back, and then I heard gunshot.
What time?
It would have been about 3:45 in the morning, so 3:45 a.m.
So, I'm always kicking back at 3:45 a.m. But surely it must have come as an unpleasant shock.
Must have been a bit scary for you.
Oh, it's the northern suburbs, but you don't know what to expect.
Straight out of lay law, you know what I'm saying?
What's the big news today? And 2 Sydney men have been refused bail by the courts today after being charged with terror-related offences in connection with the shooting of Curtis Chang. Here is what we've learned.
Police have always maintained that 15-year-old gunman Fahad Jabbar was no lone wolf. Today, they outlined their case against 2 men, Rabban Alu and Talal Alamuddin. Its alleged phone records show the men met several times on the day of the shooting, and that in one of these meetings, Alamuddin supplied Alu with the murder weapon. Then things moved to the Parramatta Mosque, where police claim CCTV shows that Alu met with Fahad Jabbar for several hours, but handed off the gun in the female section of the mosque, where there are no security cameras. In both instances, there's no physical evidence of a gun changing hands.
Rabban is an 18-year-old who has been charged after being held in custody for over 200 hours for the purposes of interrogation. The evidence that the charges rely against are circumstantial evidence. This means there's no direct evidence to support the charges.
And we will be following that story as more of that information comes to light. Now, change of pace now, and defending MotoGP champ Marc Marquez is fastest after the opening practice sessions for the Australian Motorcycle Grand Prix at Phillip Island. But all eyes will be on 9-time world champ Valentino Rossi and Spaniard Jorge Lorenzo, who are battling it out for this year's title, separated by just 18 points.
Kate Peck is a motorcycle maniac. She's also a Channel 10 MotoGP commentator, and she joins us trackside. Kate, who's going to win?
Oh, wow, Jack Miller, right? No. I think Valentino, personally. It's been a pretty crazy season this season. You know, it's been a real roller coaster. Marquez has come off with so many unforced errors. Lorenzo's right up there. The gap of 18 points is so exciting. So, yeah, we're almost at the end of the championship. And, I mean, it could be anybody's game, but my bets are on Valentino.
Now, Kate, we didn't have you pegged as a rev head. We're used to seeing you on catwalks and red carpets. Where did this obsession come from?
Well, my dad and stepmom ride around the world all year, every year on their motorcycles. So wow. I guess it's in the blood, really. They invited me to go to Africa when I was about 19 or 20. So I had to learn I had a scooter at that time, but I had to learn to ride a really big motorcycle very quickly. And so my first trip was a 3-month trip in Africa.
Kate, have you had a chance to hit the famous Phillip Island track?
No hitting of the track today. There are far better racers out there than me. But I have been down here for a superbike school day before, where I've got to fang around the track on a RR 1000cc BMW, which is pretty special. The track down here is amazing, and when the weather is good like it is this weekend, it's just you can't even concentrate on riding. It's just all views. Just everywhere is just incredible views. So yeah, it's a special place.
And it's a special sound. Given you spend so much time trackside, I'm guessing you've got an awesome sound for when something whizzes past pretty quickly?
Oh, I do. It's really funny because I catch myself on the street and I can kind of tell the difference between what type of motorcycle goes past it. It's weird because my friends see me do it and they're like, what's wrong with you? You're such a weirdo. But yeah, when they do come past down the street here, it's just such a special sound.
Well, the MotoGP is happening this weekend. You can catch all the action right here on 10. Qualifiers kick off at 1 p.m. tomorrow. The big race from Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or check your local guides. Kate, have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, guys. I hope you tune in on Channel 10.
We will, for sure. Now, we've got to take a break, but after the break, Russell Brand is joining us at this desk, which is very exciting for you, Fifi, judging by what Russell said last time he was on the show.
Now, Russell, one of our hosts here is Fifi Box, and we understand you...
You're joking. Where is she? Tell her I want to see my kid.
She was on... This will be fun, won't it?
Oh.
Pete, you're sitting next to him. There's a fair chance you'll end up pregnant by the end of this.
I'm wearing a condom.
competition and he's here to recruit you.
In the few years we've known Russell Brand, his career transformations have been impressive to watch. After a difficult childhood, he suffered from addiction at a young age before taking to showbiz.
I'm a lovely bear! Girl! Sorry. I'm not a genuine bear.
His quick wit, astounding vocabulary, big brain and even bigger hair saw him go on to become one of the top names in stand-up around the world.
Isn't it possible that airport security are taking possession of fruit a bit seriously?
I ran a pretty successful crime organisation. What did you do? I smuggled a bunch of bananas into this country.
Taking on Hollywood, he's made movies like Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Rock of Ages, as well as marrying and divorcing pop superstar Katy Perry.
I'm living like this life, the very thing that I detest. Vapid, vacuous celebrity.
The last couple of years have seen Russell pull his most fascinating move yet, taking on politics, or a sort of anti-politics anyway, as well as being an outspoken advocate for drug education and treatment.
The criminalisation of addicts is kind of symbolic and not really functional. I'm not saying let's have a wacky free-for-all where people go around taking drugs. Didn't help me much.
Back in Australia with his live show, Russell Brand is one man you can't pin down.
Would you please welcome Russell Brand? You got a tissue, where would you like to put it? Can I help you with that?
Should I explain what's on it before I give it to you?
We are a PG time slot, but go for your life.
We don't want another pregnancy on this show. There are some spores on this.
Wow.
Spores. Airborne spores. I'll place it here.
Snot.
Snot? That's vulgar. These are life-giving seeds from another dimension.
How do you feel the mother of your child is going with mothering?
That woman, Fifi Box, for me, exemplifies all that is great about Australia. She is fun, she is frivolous, she is beautiful, exuberant, full of life, plucky, can-do spirit. She's unstoppable. I adore her.
Amazing.
Thank you. That's lovely. I didn't actually expect that answer, Russell.
Why?
No, because you actually are this a beautiful person, and you've been a very dear friend to me. And when people were perpetuating those rumours, I wanted to stand up.
I perpetuated it a bit.
Well, you did.
I shouldn't have perpetuated that.
Not too late.
So it's not true. We can just clarify.
It's definitely not true, so let's not perpetuate anything other than tonight. Just talking about Russ, it's been 2-3 years since you've been here. The True World Tour is in our country. Please tell us, what can we expect?
You come to it. I'll do jokes there. You will have a pleasant time. You will feel connected to your own humanity and to us as a species, but in a joyful way. You will feel optimistic about change. You will not feel hopeless. You will feel loved because I love you. Tickets available.
It's a hell of a promise. The last few years have been big for you and have involved a lot of transitions. So stand-up comedy and then acting and then politics and activism. When you're doing all that, is it confusing? It is. Well, that's my question. Is it hard to get back into stand-up headspace?
Well, no, not for me, Waleed, because I'll tell you why. Because for me, all things must come from a centre of truth. Whether you're doing this interview here on the project, or doing stand-up comedy, or making love to a fine-looking woman in hope of a second child. Do it from the place in you that is true, from the place that in you is real. From some ideologies, you would call it God or Allah or Vishnu or whatever. But for me, it's that essence. Behind your personal identity, we are connected to greatness. All of us feel it in silence, the quiet voice of wonder present in us all. You can use that in comedy, you can use it anywhere. Even great athletes use it. Who's that crazy tennis kid you've got now?
Nick Kyrgios.
Kyrgios, that he's coming from somewhere deep. He's deep, that player.
Have there been times in your life where you've lost that? You felt like you've lost it?
Yes, I lose it every day.
Oh. Do you get it back in time for when the show starts?
Please God.
You were knee-deep in Hollywood a few years ago. You had, you know...
Not knee-deep, Peter. You don't stop it. You're in Hollywood and you stop at the knee, you've misread the instructions. Go the full rest of the leg. Don't stop until you're at the midriff.
Is that how you get the tissue situation?
Yeah. Very much so, yes.
Yeah. I get the impression the experience maybe wasn't as great as you were hoping, or Well, how did you survive that experience?
Don't try to resolve inner maladies with any external stimuli or you'll be disappointed. We're taught in our culture that it'll be really good to be famous and rich, and it is compared to being really, really poor. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, like, hoping that someone's going to sling me back into Essex working, like, in a factory. I don't want to do that. But, like, the glistening spectacle, we know this now, it does not nourish us in a real way. So I was sort of, like, getting the things that I thought I wanted as a kid, and then I was thinking, this doesn't work. Why is this not working? Like, if you imagine you're eating a delicious cake, but it tasted of ashes. It didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me. But amazing things happened there. I met beautiful people, had incredible experiences, but I didn't like participating in the hologram of contemporary culture that distracts people from the true beauty that's already within them, that doesn't need to be consumed or bought because we already own it.
That needed a beat behind
Yeah,
it. That was amazing.
Someone can do that later on YouTube.
Well, now, you've opened a cafe, which sounds awesome, where you've got recovering drug addicts working there.
They're unreliable! Why are you late to work? Drugs! No, it's going really well, as a matter of fact. It's a social enterprise. It's good to have businesses that are not motivated entirely by profit, but to bring people together as communities, you know? Now, I'm a recovering drug addict myself, so the opportunity to get recovering drug addicts working for me is a great benefit, and it makes me feel very, very connected. But I will say they're unreliable! No, they're doing really bloody well. It's good. It's good to go to a business place and, you know, people have suffered, and they'll continue to suffer. That cafe because I start to take it too serious, you know, like, you know, I want to be in control of it and go, oh, my God, come on, let's go, let's go. Like, I go into being Basil 40 from 40 Towers.
Well, you're extremely reliable, and you're reliable enough that you're going to stay with us for a whole nother segment and be just as funny as you were then.
I will not leave till Fifi and I have a 25-year-old child.
Okay. Stay with us until that happens. We'll be back in a moment.
Danish zoo decide to dissect a lion in front of a group of kids. And hey, Boris, pick on someone your own size. You're watching The Project.
International guest, I feel that you might be able to throw to our international news segment. Would you be OK to do that?
Yes, I'm precisely the right person to throw to an international news segment. Thank you, Carrie. It's time to see what's making the news now around the globe with a quick peek at an international news package. Take it away.
Oscar Pistorius will be freed from prison next week and placed under house arrest after serving 12 months of his 5-year sentence for killing girlfriend Reba Steenkamp. Next month, prosecutors return to court to appeal the Paralympian's culpable homicide conviction. They claim he should instead be convicted of murder. Denmark's Odense Zoo is copping plenty of flack for dissecting a lion in front of a crowd of children. The keepers say they're teaching kids about nature, but critics have branded the pungent event a macabre spectacle. Last year, Copenhagen Zoo was criticised for doing the same thing to Marius, the giraffe. And England may be out of the Rugby World Cup, but London Mayor Boris Johnson still has his eye on the prize. He's smashed a 10-year-old kid as he ran for the try line in a game of touch rugby during his trade visit to Japan. Toko Sekiguchi was OK, and apparently there are no hard feelings.
That is... I mean, he put his shoulder into that kid. That wasn't an accident.
It was quite vindictive, I thought, and I'd like to apologise on behalf of Britain.
Just for him in general, or just for that action?
In general.
Is he the leader that England needs?
No, I mean, though, given that he's a British politician around children, we should be grateful he was just that he elbowed one. They normally take it a lot further, especially the Conservative Party. Crikey, lucky to get away, that lad.
Now, Aussie politics, in the past you've had quite a bit to say about Abbott, Joe Hockey. In the last month, we have ourselves a new Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull. Do you have an opinion on him yet?
Yes, here is that opinion now. Why you put really, really rich people in charge of your country for who want to build a thing called a tax shield? I want a tax shield. Also, what's that thing he goes, like, he's got money in the Cayman Islands, but there's nothing wrong with it. Having your money in the Cayman Islands is like putting your dick into custard. We all want to do it, but there's no rational reason to do it. If your dick's in a bowl of custard, you're doing it for a reason.
Just reminding you, we are live, bro.
On the upside, though, Bill Shorten has his next line, which is going to be wonderful. Is there ever any chance of you going into politics?
Well, I think in a sense we are all in politics. We are all responsible for our own communities. We are all responsible for our own lives. I don't think we can outsource the management of our communities. I think the last century has demonstrated that when we outsource our interests to economic elites, they will not treat us well. This is what has been proven. The situation in your country is the situation in my country or in America. To various degrees, we are suffering because ordinary people have no access to power. We're being divided and invited to dislike each other on the basis of gender, religion, race or creed. We are one planet, one people, and we must create our own communities and our own politics.
But we're not one parliament, right? So would you do the parliament thing?
I don't like that bit. Although I like your one. In your parliament, they got swivel chairs. Like, that's amazing. No, you're out of order, mate. It's so informal. A swivel chair. You would not get that in my parliament in England. Order, order. Like, it's more grown up. Your parliament, people are like, hey, fucking hell. Excuse my language. Sorry, Australia. If Australia can't take swearing now, good God.
But you love to have a voice. If you love to have a voice, why have you gone off your YouTube channel, you've gone off your social media? Why is that?
Because I'm taking some time to understand more profound truths than can ever be expressed in the secular world. I don't want to be put through the narrow parameters of conventional media, and when not for the fact that I'm here performing to the beautiful people of your country, I wouldn't have the opportunity even to be on this show. So sometimes I think that you get involved in circular, cyclical, circuitous arguments, and so I'm discovering something new and profound, and I'm just learning how to communicate it so as I don't embarrass anybody or anyone.
Your fans are very dedicated. What's it?
They better be! And so are the people in my coffee shops. They're unreliable. What do you mean you took too many drugs to bake a cake? Oh, I'm sorry, boss. The cake's full of drugs. Delicious. Put 10% on any drug-filled cake. Heroin's not cheap. What's wrong with these kids?
Is there any backlash when you take a break?
What, someone might lash back at me? Well, I'm here and then they lash. What are people lashing for? Don't lash. Don't lash in any direction. Elegant movements like lashing is undisciplined. Any fan of mine won't lash around. They're not octopuses.
I don't even think I understand that. No. I'm going with it.
I'm breaking down the... all that's happened there is it's a semantic issue. Sure. The word lash is quite loaded. Right. Often words that you separate them from their actual meaning. Mm-hmm. I've reconnected it to its actual meaning and thus created comedy.
That's good. You
that's why we love you.
Started with a metaphor and went literal. Yes, I like it.
That was a more succinct way of saying it. You must have been a bloody good lawyer.
No, I had to be succinct because we have to go to a break.
You've got to defend me in my next case. Apparently, I accused your Prime Minister of putting his dick in custard.
We'll be back with us very, very soon.
Great song. Welcome back to the project where we have Russell Brand and Lara Worthington joining us. Hello.
Lara looks a little bit nervous. When you...
Why?
Have you guys met before? Is this your first time?
Yeah, outside we did a photograph by the logo for the channel. Yes. And Lara was using modelling at me. I was just being a normal person in a photo. Lara went, no, you were just... did modelling.
I bet he was just really loud in my ear.
That is the sense that receives vibrations. If I was loud in your eyes, that would be a problem.
Now, Russ, I'm nervous to ask this, but you did say at the start of the year that you were considering attempting celibacy. Is that something that you have continued with?
What time do you finish work?
She's going out with me tonight, so get your mitts off, yeah?
My celibacy rules...
I just saw you, like, edit about 5 jokes.
I do those for you.
You haven't answered that question.
Celibacy.
Are you going it alone, or have you got a lovely woman at the moment?
I'm committed to the Lord. What do you want to know about me? My private life?
Well, you've gone from...
What I do with my penis at bedtime? Bizarre inquiry. Yeah. When you're in bed, what happens to that guy?
You've had one of the most high-profile relationships of all time.
With Fifi?
Yeah. I was just getting what sort of woman you're after now. Where are your world's at now?
I love all people.
An open invitation to Australia.
Like this is one of those conversations where you say something and about 1,000 different interpretations get heard.
This is the difficulty with language. We communicate only through symbols, meaning attached arbitrarily. What is reality? What is truth? What is it, Fifi?
I'm confused about everything right now. I'm still back on what time I finish work.
I love that we're doing philosophy of language on this show. It's wonderful.
That's right. Semantics and semiotics here with me and Waleed.
How are you going, Lara?
Oh, God.
Russell, can I ask you?
I can't keep up with you. You're just way...
You don't need
too
to
quick.
keep up with me. You're perfect.
Yeah. OK, thank you.
We were talking to Lara before about how she goes with the paps. How's your world with the paps now? Because would it go up and down in terms of depending where you're living and what you're doing?
Sometimes I get agitated with them. Sometimes in a relationship I feel protective. I sort of would be a bit too violent because you think... No one really cares if someone hits a pap. It's a bloody good opportunity to express some anger. So what I try to do is imagine that there's people, because actually they are people. So it's not difficult for the imagination to do that.
I don't think they think we're people, though.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult, though, isn't it? Because if they get a good photograph of you, a nip slip, say, that could be worth a lot of money to a pap. And I suppose, in a way, many of these problems that we face are economic and problems of, as I say, we've become detached from meaning. People don't think, oh, that's just another human being trying to get through life. Yeah. And it's difficult if you're very famous and you've got your own clothing line and makeup line and beautiful, perfect nose and profile. people won't feel sympathy for you because they'll think you're a shimmering light of pure energy. Oh. But they might think that. I don't know what people think.
Like, if Sam's watching tonight, what's he thinking right now?
He's probably thinking...
Who is Sam?
You have a bag down there. What's
sorry,
I did spy that.
Actually, I brought
Were you looking at her bag initially, Pete? On Lara's legs, you sexist! Sam, I hope you're watching this. It's not me you want to worry about, it's Pete. The bag spotter.
Russell, like, you're from England.
Another dimension.
Yeah, England. I brought you some tanning.
I like that. Hey, that's racist.
Anyway, it's instant.
Is this a product placement? By Lara Bingle. Hey, what's your name?
Well, I just got married, so I'm doing the rebranding.
Tan Moose?
Are you rebranding it?
Yeah, eventually I am.
Well, someone's enjoying it. The chocolate monster couldn't be happier.
If you want to find out where you can see Russell live, head to the Sites We Like page on our website. We got to go. Please thank Russell.